Honestly, I feel like I come back to this game at least once a year just to play it, enjoy the vibe, you know? But this time I had a serious problem. I want this damn sword in Guild Wars 2. However, the only way to get it is by going and playing a bit of Guild Wars 1. So I decided to dive back into the old world of Ascalon and Tyria, and honestly, this game has so many damn memes just baked into it. All right, before we get into this, Caffeinated has some Christmas bills to pay. Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG that has so many possibilities that it's not even funny. This MMO spins crafting and large-scale PvP on its head and brings it to the forefront, and it honestly redefines the meaning of player choice. This MMO thrives off of social interaction and fully driven player economy, which is constantly growing and changing with the people who play it, not to mention the in-depth, full, unfiltered PvP. If you enjoyed PvP and other MMOs, well, you very well may love the constant and dangerous battles against other players in this game. And don't forget their classless system allows you to essentially change your strategy on the fly to fight however you want. Right now may be the best time to jump in and play Albion Online because they just dropped their Realm Divided update that overhauled faction warfare to make those PvP battles more accessible to all players, veteran and beginners alike, making these battles a lot faster to get into and transforming these skirmishes into massive siege warfare. Join as one of 6 factions to wrest control from other players and make those large skirmishes into truly epic battles. If you want to get started with Albion Online, go ahead and click the link in the description below to start your journey. Of course, if I'm doing a totally serious playthrough of Guild Wars 1, it takes a totally serious looking character. One of my favorite classes from playing Guild Wars 1 way back when was a ranger, so of course I create the skinniest and possibly the most Giga Chad looking man that I can. In all seriousness, this guy could probably benefit from a few cheeseburgers or steroids. After giving him a hilariously detailed beard, I set off to create his name. I forget that the caffeinated dad is already taken by my whammo, which is what the cool kids call a warrior monk combo class, so I add a unique twist that's never been seen before. Yeah, this is a totally serious playthrough. The opening cinematic gives us an ominous foretelling of what's going to happen, and for some reason multiple copies of the same woman standing there looking in the same direction. So first off, we go and look at the quest, never mind. I guess we just absorb that completely and have no need to read why we do anything. Just follow the little green light. For this basically being the new player landing zone, there are multiple level 20s here, which level 20 is the max level. If you can make it to max level without leaving Ascalon, you get an achievement called the Legendary Defender of Ascalon, which honestly means that you pulled in Eric Cartman from the episode of South Park where they kill boars for 200 hours in Elwyn Forest. Anyway, my skinny twink is off on his adventure shooting random SCP horrors that are supposed to be like scale, like these are common river creatures. You know what? In that case, I'm glad this whole damn place burns. We give a cha-cha slide and we're off on our adventure. What I kind of forgot about this game is the affinity for walking. You get to stretch those malnourished legs, Caffdad, because we're going to go on a 10-day marathon to the next quest hub. You get to go back to one of the more beautiful places here, which is Ashford Abbey, where Brother Menlo lives. And no, I don't mean that he's a brother like I'm respected in the hood. No, he's actually a brother monk, which makes no damn sense. Well, we go and unlock dual class options, which if you spend too much time picking one class at the beginning, guess how much stress you're going to have when you have to pick a second one about 5 minutes later. Now this becomes my first massive mistake of many that I will probably make in a long series through this playthrough, and I chose a Mesmer as my secondary class. A long time ago, I remember getting fondled by Touch Rangers, and that's without consent. Well, I forgot that Touch Rangers were a dual class with Necromancers, not Mesmers. Whoops! Looks like the theater kids suffer again. Can't wait to have an entire second class that I never touch ever again. Now, I have to unlock my pet, which is of course the most sacred pastime of any ranger, much like how going vegan sounds great until you can't eat bacon. That's completely unrelated. To complete a quest, we have to go and tame a giant cat, and I know I'm supposed to be the master here, but this cat absolutely trucks me. He's dealing like 20 to 30 damage with each of his hits. I really hope that carries over when he's my pet. Have you ever beat a boss in an RPG and then he joins your party and hits like wet noodle? Yep, my pet went from dealing 30 damage each hit to about -6. I am already loving my journey. Look at me go. Some of my quests had me running around with this lady Devona for whatever reason. By the way, she can tank multiple arrow shots to the face from every direction. Just soak it in like she's a damn sponge. It's great because my crackhead cat and me can just sit back and DPS at a distance. But now a very important quest piques my interest. I have to go play with some guy's worm.
Hold up.
I help him with his worm problem?
Wait a minute.
Well, regardless, I already have the dashing face fail for their enjoyment. Well, Duke Kaboom here asked me to go with his potentially autistic son Faden to go look for Devourer eggs. Not only does he not assist me in the combat, he grabs the eggs and dances in the background. What fun! After completing the dance of me doing all the work and him getting to play with his eggs, we gather what we need and move on. Apparently, we had to go into a dark cave with a stranger to get the eggs to lure out a giant worm to kill in a field, which this is all very surprising to me, but hey, probably would have not been as surprising if I actually read the damn text involved with the quest. Nope. We're not here for reading. Follow the green markers, that's where I gotta go. The worm dies very easily, but I spot this wolf pet that you can tame. He's less of a wolf and more of an overly jacked steroid dog that runs like an NFL lineman doing a bear crawl towards someone. The pets in this game are just like wild void creatures, holy crap. So I sprint back as fast as humanly possible to where the ranger tamer is, and I click the abandon button on my kitty cat, and it's exactly like this meme.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Why? Because I want my roid-raging werewolf to be at my side. After dealing with the emotional and mental trauma that comes along with leaving a beloved companion, it's time to quest a bit more. I remember in the catacombs there was a bunch of quests, and that's a pretty good place to go and level, so why not? I probably won't need to get to level 5 to burn this place to the ground, but I feel like unaliving some of the undead, like I'm a witch hunter, so here we go. I then see something foreboding. A devourer gets blown up like a 50-cent balloon, and now there's a giant green circle on the ground. I'm not sure how I can get by it without triggering, but it looks like the left side there's a little bit more room that perhaps I can just slide by. I mean, I'm trying to see how far I can get without dying. This is probably gonna be fine, right? Anyway, after blowing off my lower half with a splinter mine, I say this dungeon is not for me. I hate this place and I want to see it burn. We start a mission with the Giga Chad Prince Rurik, who, if you didn't know, is basically the embodiment of manliness. There were rumors that the sound of his voice could actually cure poison ivy, but that's neither here nor there. We kill the Char that's hiding in this cave, and we get to see the entire world get absolutely nuked by a firebomb, from which the Char, which I know the Char got a visual upgrade through the years, but look how goofy these guys look. I just want you to enjoy this with me. Anyway, people are dying in the thousands here while we were safely in our bunker cave. Well, now we get to explore the world after the searing, and let's just say things got extra crispy. No vegetations, the rocks are alive and want to put you into a hard place, and basically the mood is the color brown. So I'd say it's time to move on. We level to 5, and now it's the perfect time to start grinding out some of the missions. So if you didn't know, Guild Wars 1 has a total of 25 missions to complete the prophecy story, and each mission could be anywhere between 10 minutes or an hour and a half. I don't make the rules here. The first mission is to find a Char army, which really shouldn't be all that difficult because, I mean, they're cats and they're colored brown. Oh no, they're colored brown. Back landscape is all brown. Geez, this is starting to feel like those Where's Waldo puzzles, but he isn't even in the picture. Know why he wears stripes? It's because he didn't want to be spotted. Anywho, what doesn't make sense about this barren wasteland is the amount of monkey people that live here and can survive. You'd think with this little amount of green that they would have kind of moved on instead of monkeying around here. After killing literally anything with a pulse in a 3-mile radius, we get to see a Char army, which I'm just going to say is hilariously small. Like, this is the Char army. There's 20 cats and 1 glowing red guy, but that's probably just the first incarnation of an infusion from Guild Wars 2, and this is where they were testing it. Well, somehow they spot us and Van Damme a door in, and I don't know, move a stone that probably weighs 200 pounds. Hey, but who needs logic? Well, they chase us, and I do the most heroic thing, and I sprint my little twink legs off. I leave all my associates behind and lead a massive army straight to 5 unaware guards because I'm the hero here. The next mission has us fighting to push the Char army back, which I still stand by. If we had like 2 monk henchmen and like 5 Ascalon guards as cannon fodder, we could have had this war won by like noon. Not sure what everyone else's problem is, but anyway, we help this guy out, and he asks us to help his buddy Dieter, which, to be honest, if I had a buddy named Dieter, I would have said that he got what he deserved for picking a dorky name. No offense if your name is Dieter, but just make better choices. The next 20 minutes of this mission is nothing but just us dealing with ranged enemies who are up on the sides of the canyon, so we can't actually hit them in melee. At least you got this super buff ranger that can hit them. Hadn't had a meal since 93. Well, we find Dieter, and for some reason he has his armor and his sword still on him. Like, you couldn't figure out a way to live even after being imprisoned with all of your equipment. Again, Dieter confirmed being a dorky name and a dorky person. The mission has us launching a near fully functional trebuchet at the enemies, which are conveniently standing underneath where it's going to land, because why not? Why not have one possible weapon that can devastate your entire army and completely turn the tides? Yeah, let's go stand right where it's going to land. Yeah, That makes sense. Well, Giga Chad Rorik says it's time for us to fight back, and we see a nice picture of my ranger's house for some reason. But then there is something that I don't understand. This battlement that we're up on, how did we get up here? There's no ladder. How the hell do we get down? Guys, I'm really trying. Where's the logic here? Usually, each mission leads right up until the next, but in some cases, it requires us to go into the open world, like this one. Most of the missions are tame, but the open world can be absolutely brutal with the roaming gangs of enemies that are here. And we have to get to the ruins of Sirmia to help out some of our captured guards that just got kidnapped. I don't know. There's only so much that we can do. There's too much dumb here. And I will reiterate, they are 100% inside their cages with full armor and weapons. Just saying. Rorik joins us again, which honestly, with a flaming sword this cool, I was kind of hoping that he would do more damage. But anyway, we progress forward. And what's funny about having him in our party is that he is the most vocal trash talker I have experienced in any game. He legit taunts and like teabags enemies every chance that he gets, which all my henchmen barely say anything. They barely say a word. That's how I pay them to not say anything. They just do their job and keep their mouth shut. That's what I need from you. We hit a couple of char packs that actually start to have healers in them, and I will say it starts to get obnoxious because I ran into a group that had 3 healers and it was nearly game over. You cannot deal enough damage to unalive any of the enemies here before they fully heal up, and there's only so much your monk healer can do. Absolutely BS if you ask me, but we hit a couple of these cages and free our very well armed buddies, and now we find a captive who is a little bit unique because he is an Ascalon soldier with a sword. Talk about your main character energy. We have to teleport out of this place by apparently defending these electric towers and the mages that were here, so that's easy enough. I step away in real life because the kids need me, and I guess everything turned out okay. I don't know, we won the quest and I came back to a cutscene.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
Again, I'm paying the henchmen to do the work. Do the work. This aged old man says that we should blow this magical horn that will summon storms of putting out fires around, which is very convenient that this is here. What a great plot device. I mean, it ain't gonna blow itself. We casually teleport out, clearly leaving one of the mages alive in the background, and the next mission is Nolani Academy. Rorik and I are on the mission to blow, and it doesn't matter how many furries we have to dance with. We're gonna make it happen.
What the hell is even that?
This is probably why I should go to therapy. Anyway, right out the gate, I pull a massive pack of baddies and then wipe 2 members of my party, which, boy, I wish I could have been more useful and at least brought a res or picked a dual class that could heal. Anyway, that would have been great for class cohesion. What dummy would only pick a ranger mesmer? Well, we fight all these different malfights a few times to get to the Stormcaller, which the plot armor is so thick it clogged my arteries. Rorik blows the whistle, baby, and it starts to rain and puts out all the fires from the scared kitty cats. And of course their fur is getting wet, so they're not happy. We finally get to the last boss, and it literally takes 10 seconds, and he's dead. 10 seconds is all it took for us to end this like push from the Char army. All this work that we did for the amount of time that I can actually listen to Taylor Swift without my ears bleeding. We then get a cutscene of the King's Royal Guards, but what's funny about them is that the way that they're walking, they're like turning and pacing like they're on a damn runway. Like, why do they gotta act like that? Well, Rorik says we gotta go because there's nothing left to rebuild, and the king says that's bullshit and you're dumb. Rorik then says you're old and dumb, and the tips of their swords almost touch, so I don't know. Then the king hits the kill switch and literally banishes his son and strips him of the title. Boy, I thought people in our time couldn't handle a debate. Well, Rorik runs off, and in synchronized fashion, our whole party runs off with him. Well, I pick up some of the quests that are here nearby Yak's Bend because my plan is to get some experience and some skills before I progress any further. But what I end up doing is pulling an entire crowd of rock elementals and hydras. Hydras, by the way, can nearly one-shot you with their meteor skill. This is possibly the sketchiest pull that I have ever taken, and we still won somehow. I totally got stoned here. So these giant raptors that Time Forgot is decimating our group like we were that guy on the porta potty in Jurassic Park 1. And somehow it only gets worse. We pull another pack of giant rock throwing boys. Blessia, bless her bald head, is stressed to no end. I get stoned, they kill my pet, which somehow locks me out of all of my skills for like 5 seconds, and somehow we turn it around. I have no idea how we won this. I get a couple of items like the purple sword drop and the survivor's guild from everyone in my group dying except for me. Yay! I progress up this mountain to get to the next mission, and there's nothing but ice elementals and these super badass dwarves. I'm sorry, ArenaNet, you missed a clear choice for a race that you could have had. I know the dwarves are basically extinct because they like sacrifice themselves to kill a dragon minion, but if we had a dwarf as a playable race, that would be incredible. I'm just saying, I'm not arena partner for nothing. Well, anyway, each one of these guys has legit full-on Deldrimir plate armor, which doesn't make sense that they should die so quickly, I'm just saying. Now, the next mission starts for Borreless Pass. We have to light some bonfires and stop a siege that's happening on Rorik and Jallus Ironhammer. If you play Revenant, then that dwarf name should ring a bell. And no, not like the dwarves from The Hobbit, which the trilogy was objectively very good and doesn't deserve the hate, I'm just saying. After 10 minutes of wandering around in the snow, fighting centaurs, of all creatures, we get to the entrance where the evil dwarves are sieging all the good dwarves. Now we have to stop a siege, yay! Now, I get even more pissed that the dwarves aren't playable here, because then they have Beastmasters that they ride on, like these metal-clad, steel-clad gorillas. Like, holy crap, that would have been such a cool, like, unique mount to have. I don't know. What I'm saying really sounds like a fever dream. Well, they stomp and hit really hard, but are basically made of paper. Like, everything in this section is super easy to kill. But I pull a dumb move and accidentally pull a named mob who is also a healer, along with another healer on a Dolyak. 2 healers, and now I have no one who can heal because Alessia got iced immediately.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
And all the reses in my group are gone because they've already been used. Well, inadvertently, I caused the complete wipe of our group except for my pet and I, and let me fast forward to what happens.
Still a piece of garbage.
Okay, after spending about 20 minutes clearing out all the way back to where we were, we get to the bonus objective done, which is to kill a frosty snake that's in this cave. I can finally finish this damn mission. Jallus talks to us and gives us the Mystic Torch, but holy crap, you gotta look at Little Thorn. His face is like 90% stash, man. The late 80s adult entertainment scene would be proud. We climb up to the top of this cliff and light a few beacons, but I skip the last mob, who ends up chasing us through the cutscene like it's a Scooby-Doo villain. And we get up and close with the other dwarves here, and now I can see why they didn't make the cut for Guild Wars 2. Never mind, carry on, ArenaNet. The last mission in the mountains is the Frostgate, which seems simple enough. We gotta get through the Frostgate Pass, which really shouldn't be that big of an issue. There's minotaurs, there's angry dwarfs with hammers, and there's ballista that are literally just firing explosives endlessly into the same spot because, you know what? The hell with that one spot in particular. Also, killing a dwarf who is manning the ballista somehow causes the ballista to implode because physics, I guess. I don't know, I'm not a scientist. What I start to feel this game is it's more like an arena match from World of Warcraft. Like, each party is doing their best to knock the other party down by either killing a healer or focusing on a DPS and then interrupting a healer. I'm just saying, it feels very much like that. Well, I grabbed this dwarf for the bonus quest on this mission, and he wants us to steal some battle plans, but I have to keep him alive, so naturally, what do? Walk him straight into this firing range. I heard dwarfs were sturdy, time to put that to the test. He took a hit, and he's fine, so I wouldn't worry about it. A minute later, I run into a group of Dolyak riders, and for some reason, the whole enemy group chose racism and killed the only dwarf that's a part of my party. I'm not a healer, so oh well, time to move on.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Rorik gives us an inspiring speech about opening up the Frostgate with these huge cranks and asks us to pull his lever, so I of course jump to the quest. I mean, we already had the horn blowing arc, so this makes complete sense to me. Also, for the rest of this mission, please call me Caffeinated Wolfcock, because why is this a thing? We activate all 3 of the levers, everyone runs through while Rorik does the most obnoxiously heroic thing and stays back to fight multiple enemies. Like, you can outrun them, they're dwarves. They have tiny ass legs. Simply just outrun them, my dude. Like, they're all dangerous of a short distance. Well,
We dwarves are natural sprinters. Very dangerous over short distances.
Well, some angry dwarf comes over on a giant big lizard, and we try to save Rorik, but like, he's like, leave me here, I believe in you, and somehow I just phase out of existence. Say less, queen. Well, he died. Things can only get better from here, right? I really almost gave up earning this stupid sword in Guild Wars 2. During the Fiery Dragon Sword in Guild Wars 2, you gotta play through Guild Wars 1, and honestly, f*** the Maguma jungle and f*** this mission. Anyway, all right, so it's looking grim. Rorik went full last stand hero and got crushed by some frozen water. See, when I call it like that, an avalanche sounds so much less intense. Anyway, he got a half-off deal on a haircut, and now he is in the mists, looking down on us like the last Pringle in the tube. Somehow, we are now leading the Ascalon leftovers through the rest of this mountain, which is bold. Up until like 20 minutes ago, we had a ridiculously muscular dwarf leading us all the way through, and now they have said that we can be free. What the hell can go wrong?
He's sacrificing them! What the shit? I knew it!
Oh my goodness, who saw this coming? The evil white mantle. Oh, this is a turn of events. Oh my god, I don't want to do this mission again. I failed it 3 times, come on. We pick up our journey, kicking down the door to these cold centaur folk who, don't worry, they were promptly sent to the glue factory, retired to the farm where all centaur go. They were retired. Yeah, eventually we get to a cave and we are approaching some of the white mantle units. They are totally our friends, I'd bet. They really have our best interests at heart, I'd bet. And they won't totally use our kindness to further their evil plans, right? I'd bet. We kind of had a whole entire expansion in Guild Wars 2 that kind of covered that they are the baddies. But anyway, we cruised through the equivalent of 200 cave trolls in the course of about 5 minutes, so suck on that, Pippin.
Fool of a took.
And now we are marching into the gates of Lion's Arch, which I'm sure that city will last for thousands of years without being destroyed or rebuilt and then destroyed again, without a doubt. Well, we finally get to the new biome with nothing but undead and the evil version of the Little Mermaid, which is actually kind of cool. Hey, branching out a little, Little Mermaid 2 didn't really do all that well, so you got to find work somewhere else. There have been times where I thought about rearranging my talents to better suit to be a Mesmer hybrid like these guys, but maybe that's just me. It's an illusion of choice. We fight through a ton of dead, and they make a beeline for my one single healer, Alessia. Like, legit, they hunt her down like she's a Scooby snack, and they cripple her so she can get overwhelmed so easily. I should really bring a res signet at some point. Anyway, we make for the next mission. Okay, so I immediately jump into this mission, and again, if you don't know, Guild Wars 1 missions can either be hit or miss. They can either take 10 to 15 minutes, or they can take 50 minutes to slog through with a gimmick at the end that makes you lose immediately, speaking from experience.
Perfectly calm, dude.
Looks like we will need to clear out some of the undead that are attacking Lion's Arch, and yo dog, you better get used to that. We got a lot of undead in your future. Well, we slaughter the equivalent of the Lich King's army leading up to the gates, and basically they say, hey, if you want to get in, you got to go get your rear to Justicar Albion. These undead really aren't a lively crowd, are they?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You can't stop me. Anyway, most of the mobs leading up to this place are very easy. Warlock, a sorcerer, nothing too crazy. But then we meet the Justicar, and now we have an army of pawns. Nothing in this game happens if I am not the one leading, and you will see what I mean here shortly. The first couple of waves go down like a double glizzy sundae, and now we march onto the swamp. I clear out with my group most of these skelly boys, but where are the white mantle support? I pan the camera around literally to see them tanking the ground because, hey, guess what? They can't hang and didn't bring any heal skills. Guys, this is like 5 enemies and there were 20 of you. No wonder y'all are terrible villains. Well, we bury the dead back underground, and now Albion starts glazing us up like about how mighty cute my twink body is, and we get access to Lion's Arch. And everyone runs away in uniform robotic fashion. We cross into LA, but then another cutscene shows some white mantle looking all creepy and sneaky, except for this lady. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the stockings are doing it for me. Well, they get some creepy crawly undead following them, and honestly, once the first guy died, it should have been just assigned to GTFO. You're overwhelmed, just run. They get that cripple attack, and there's no saving you from there. You're done. And then out walks a giant evil demon guy called the Undead Lich, which honestly, he's not even really all that scary, but what's really funny is his skeleton guard in the background staring like, what now, boss? Where are we going? I check out Lion's Arch, and then I step outside to earn my first hero named Mox, which honestly is a way cooler version than that of the Guild Wars 2 golems. I'm not gonna lie, I love him. He's big and he's beefy, and that's how I like him. They kind of downgraded when they got the new golems, didn't they? I gather some new skills and get burned by these little fiery boys, but now I'm making a beeline to finish the mission, so I sprint basically through this entire zone and head to the Delesio seaboard, and now we are ready to start the next mission. Apparently, we have to make it to the Temple of Tolerance before they are overrun by undead, which is a little ironic seeing as the White Mantle really own a place called the Temple of Tolerance. The White Mantle, really? Geez, propaganda much.
No! That's too specific!
This is one of the more frustrating missions that I've done thus far, not only because it takes quite a while to get where you gotta go, but I get sidetracked because, hey, the bonus objective is right here. Oh, just wait. Apparently, we pick up Benji, and we were supposed to keep him alive to start the bonus objective, so I literally go and kill every other mob here to head over to Benji because he's not listening, and it's not my fault that you have the name of an 8-year-old boy. Grow the hell up and take care of yourself. We kill the mob that he was fighting, which is a healer, unironically, and he almost died to the healer. Then he offers a quest, but this damn kid runs away from me at the same speed that I chase him, so we are literally Scooby-Doo running back and forth, and he's like, tee-hee, you can't catch me, tee-hee. God damn it, Benji! The bonus is for us to deliver the offering of the statue to Melindrew, which is, okay, cool, we can do that. I guess I can start. So I go completely the wrong way and start going the actual way to finish the mission, not the bonus, but luckily I'm just EXP farming. I haven't really done any of the outside open world quests, mainly because that's not helping me get that sword that I'm after, so I fight a ton more undead to get to this this other side of the temple, to the Temple of Tolerance, only to find out that if I want to do the bonus mission, I had to talk to the other guard at the back of the town. Fuck this mission, man. After doing a veritable marathon, I get the offering and end up back at the Temple of Tolerance. Now, I don't want my party to wipe while I am doing this because I've already come this far and spent so much time in this mission, and I want to finish the bonus, so I go make a beeline right past all the guards here at the temple who I'm apparently supposed to be protecting. Confessor Dorian is just like, okay, bye then. You're like a level 20 monk. You can heal your allies, do better, Jesus. Well, I'm carrying an item and I can't drop it, so I say to hell with it. Let my team handle the fights, right? And I'll just run straight to where I gotta go. I realize that this is not gonna be so easy, so instead of just standing back and letting them deal with all that, I try to beeline past all of the mobs all the way up to the offering temple, and I do make it. I get to the bonus objective, so now I can focus on killing all the mobs and picking where the mission is up. Also, ironically, our necromancer died. I just find that funny. You think he would have figured it out. Oh, hey, Confessor Dorian, he died too. And apparently that instantly kills everyone on the map who is fighting for that side. Why? Why wouldn't it be this way? I failed the mission, so now I have to go back and kill all the mobs up until the temple again. But this time I brought Mox, and oh my god, this is unfair. He's level 20 and hips like an absolute truck. We literally cruise through all the enemies no problem because our big boy, and it's just unfair, man. By the way, to finish this mission the normal way, it still takes about 25 minutes as the undead spawn. You kill them and you wait for more. Well, we speak to Dinas, who has the scepter of war, but oh my god, look at my twink's face with the mask moving. That's how the COVID pandemic looked. Finally, we get done this effing mission. We get knighted by the White Mantle, and Mox looks like he's like the most adult person here holding Stefan the Fighter close. Well, me and my wolf get the old sword on the shoulders, and it looks like we didn't kill all the undead because during the celebration, while the allied mobs are cheering in the back, there are enemy mobs attacking and killing them, and nobody is doing anything. It broke the immersion a little. In the next mission, I opt to remove Mox from my team. While it did make it really easy, it was a cakewalk with our big boy. And now our next mission is Divinity Coast. Now we have to deliver the Eye of Janthier to Loamhurst, which honestly, I'm just going to say that the guys rejecting human gods and believing in a floating evil eye really can't be these guys. Are we the baddies? We're the baddies, right? Well, we get up to the top of this hill and drink from the magic fountain, and we died. Because it was a cult and we drank the Kool-Aid. Anyway, we talked to Albion, and who the fuck puts a giant bush in front of the walkway? Anyway, Albion says, I've got my eye on you. Now we have to go around purifying the people of the town to see if they have magical abilities. We're definitely the baddies. This is not good. This actually becomes hilarious because it knocks people on their asses when they get checked out by the all-seeing triangle eye. Ooh, easy, Captain. I want to disappear, do we? Anyway, I run through this swamp, re-unaliving all the dead and gathering up all the magical powers in my wake, because we definitely are not going to be the bad people, are we? Surely we won't be the bad people, right? Well, I make it to Loamhurst with my special people power, and the Eye of Janthier shines its goodness rays onto us, and now apparently we can take them on a caravan. This is not going to end out well. Well, before we get 5 steps out there, there's a bunch of soldiers that they're really not hiding. They're just standing there by the side. Your dummies couldn't even notice them.
You're all stupid. See, they're gonna be looking for army guys.
And they burst from the bushes and kill all the guards of the caravan. The Shining Blade are here to help, which actually, you know what? I believe these are the good guys. Sidra, the leader, escorts them and says, your pain is almost over. And now we're going to the jungle. Now, I won't say that I hate Maguma, but I will say I f***ing hate Maguma. This place literally sucks ass. These little scarabs hit like a truck. Spiders poison us from every group. Wind Riders, which are somehow just flying brains with psychic powers, literally this place is the bane of my existence. We make it to the next mission, the Wilds, which has us trying to save the Chosen. If you remember, we're just kidnapped like the last donut at a police festival. Well, we have a small escort of Mantle Knights with us, but they all died in the first group of enemies. Like, it's not even close. They died to scarabs. Good gracious, guys. Like, you deserve death. Well, we have to figure out how the Shining Blade traverses the jungle, and we find out that they're just using seeds to basically create massive and disgusting sounded bridges from one point to another. Listen to this again. God, that's like unsettling, man. We kill about as many horse people as the fall of the Mongolian Empire.
Oh, hello, Mongolian.
And then the spiders. God, I hate the spiders. Skinny legs, the chittering noises. I don't like it. I don't want it anymore. No more. No. We finally get to a clearing and we see that, oh, hey, look, all the Chosen have been cocooned by spiders. Don't worry, they're all fine, just sleeping. Then this big spindly spider creeps down and rushes off to one of the moving survivors. No, I'm done with this. I hate this. Good luck. This is where the story ends.
Kill it! Kill it with fire!
I don't want to dig any further. Apparently my prayers were answered and the spider just disappears out of existence. And in walks a Shining Blade soldier who shows up, kills the spider, and then he dies. And then out walks this absolute baddie. Oh my God, look at the back tattoos. Anyway, walks in and says that we are the bad people if we don't help, which is a little ironic, is you guys literally stole all of these chosen people and led them to a spider's nest. That can't be pinned on me, lady. That's 100% you. Well, we get a cutscene as we are about to kill this lady and all of her soldiers surround us. Listen to my guy's speech.
What are you going to do to us?
What are you gonna do to us, step bro? Like, I mean, it was just weak, man. Seriously, muscle mommy, what are you gonna do to us? Anyway, she says, hey, the white mantle are asshats, which duh, we know. And then she sends us off to Bloodstone Fen, and yeah, that's all coming together. That adds up. Now we have to go and talk to Scout Ryder, and he will 100% take us to the Bloodstone. And get ready, because this mission is nothing but torture. Not only do we have to go through more of the jungle, we have to figure out what the mantle is doing with the chosen by traversing this godforsaken place and looking for more seeds. Now, I could be just complaining a little bit, but holy crap, the mobs hit here super damn hard, and I realize that I'm 2 levels behind where I should be. I should be level 15 along with the group, but I have like done 0 quests outside of the actual missions. Maybe there's some merit in questing like the RPG gods intended. Remember, we're doing this for the sword. So we keep growing these massive, veiny bridges.
Daddy, chill.
As we traverse the jungle, and we finally find Scout Ryder, and we can see the Bloodstone in the distance. Bruh, Ryder, who's supposed to be our guide, our buddy, our champ, basically says, hey, my group was killed and I've lost all the will to live. Motherfucker, I did not just go and kill every carnivorous plant in this godforsaken jungle for you to just turn around and say, I'm giving up. Dude, what the After a few cool and calm moments screaming into my therapy pillow, we get this cutscene where just call Albion, and he's literally glowing, so that means he gets to be unalived. Oh boy, in pure Transformers fashion, and he does a spin to win and beheads all the chosen. Like, he gets a power up from this. Then, of course, he takes a moment to somehow come over and find us below. Like, you weren't even in line of sight, and he somehow found us. Well, he talks to us all sultry like it's an older game, but ASMR is a thing here. And much like everything else, Albion dies very easily. You didn't bring heals, and your healing signet spam can just be interrupted. It's really vulnerable, huh? Well, we get the dub, and another cutscene showing us the white mantle that's basically saying, hey, they killed our friends. Like, but how did you get that message that quickly? They ain't got Timey's listening tracker. I mean, like, that doesn't make a damn bit of sense. All right, so this last effing mission, I hate it. I hate this jungle. I hate this place. And I hate all of it. I preface this. We have to go through the rest of this jungle, and everything here is ranged. They all deal poison damage, and they're all 5 levels higher than me. I get to Ventari's Refuge, which honestly, I see why the Sylvari are the way that they are, but basically he's a pacifist. Everything is fair, equal, and right. Like, dude, you have evil soldiers that are killing your people that you could easily trample, and you're just like playing the Gandhi card now? God, these British bitches ain't gonna care that you aren't fighting. Anyway, well, after killing a ton of spiders and leaving Alessia's cold dead corpse behind, we get to the next mission. And I say, F this mission. I hate it. It's terrible. I don't want any more. Good gracious, this place is terrible and I want out of this hell. This almost made me quit. We have to get to the Henge, which is a Guild Wars 2 PvP reference in my mind. That's just me. For us to do what we have to do, we have to attune to the portal before the white mantle does. All right, pretty straightforward. Remember how I hated spiders? Well, now there are spiders, wind riders, and trolls that are ridiculously loud, screaming in my ear. It's like those weird goats. We kill some white mantle guarding this druid seed. We have to use the seeds to swap the portals in our favor. Okay, so no problem. This guy here gives us a quest to assassinate one of the leaders, and at first I'm like, all right, that isn't an issue. We'll just attune and go and do our thing, right? Sure, everything should be fine. This leads off with one of the most frustrating ends to the end of a mission. And it's not even the full end. It's a pain in the ass. I hated it. I hate this. So we have to turn all 3 of these beacons blue to attune to the portal. Every time we turn on a portal, the runner just sprints to go and get another stone and turns it back to the white mantle. Fairly straightforward. Okay. Well, if you distract his guards, he will just bring a whole nother contingent. A whole effing contingent. Well, he's running these back and forth so damn fast, and while I was just trying to fight the first group, I didn't even kill the first group, and he runs right by everyone else and goes and caps the third one.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
I lose this in approximately 3 minutes, less. And guess what? That's instant death for everyone. Everyone fails the mission because this guy is the white mantle version of Usain Bolt. How can you run that fast in full plate armor? That don't make no damn sense. So I read up on this mission because I'm not wasting another 30 minutes of my life. And apparently we have to slowly wean off his guards and keep back capping until there's no one left. Oh, by the way, you can't drop the thorn crystal or it'll shatter. I hate this place. I hate this jungle. I hate this mission. Ugh. This turns into a full 30-minute endeavor where I am trying to keep my allies alive, running the crystals back and forth, also while having my henchmen kill the groups of soldiers to eventually wean them off. Apparently, this is so much easier if you have a group of real friends. Now begins a complete dance back and forth to having my guys pick off enemies while I have to run back and forth with the crystal. Oh, and Alessia dies again. Finally, we get to the last abbot who's running the crystals and we kill him. Good gracious. And then this mission isn't even over. It's not even still over. We have to get teleported to this portal and then we have to go and kill a henge garden. Like, man, I should have brought the robot. Jesus. Luckily, this part was fairly easy because he's a ranger type, so no harm, no stress. But oh my God, I almost quit this game because of this damn mission. Well, the Shining Blade says it's a safe place for us to make a home. Now we're going to attack the White Mantle from. A voice of, I don't know, some creepy witch. I was so angry at this point, I just kind of like let it run. I walked away from the computer and it says a new chapter is starting. Well, to hell with this damn game. Okay, so I may have just accidentally, on purpose, killed one of the most important characters in all of Guild Wars history.
Whoops.
Why, you may ask? Bro sided I was after that sweet bonus objective and technically she dies later. So maybe I'm just speeding up the timeline. No judgment.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Surprisingly, I am morally okay with this because, well, it gave me experience. Your booing means nothing. I've seen what you cheer for. So for those of you who don't know, I've been playing Guild Wars 1 because I am trying to unlock the Fiery Dragon Sword in Guild Wars 2. To do so, you have to complete one of the main campaigns and earn a whole bunch of other achievements. This is my journey. We pick up our tale after spending about 5 days weeping over the stress that Aurora Glade caused us because seriously, F this jungle. I hate this place. I have some new abilities and I read the effing comments. Oh my God, if I see one more person tell me that, oh, you shouldn't have to have charm pet on your hotbar, hot damn. That was 90% of the comments. Nobody even cared about the video, just wanted to correct me, you jerks. I calmly removed that from my bar and replaced it with Signet of Capture, which is pretty cool is because I can use that capture on an ability from any of the mobs that are my profession. I probably should have been doing this earlier anyway, but hey, at least I'm not some noob who didn't read the tooltips and kept Charm Pet on his bar for a while. Well, we are progressing through this hellish jungle by killing some trolls and stuff, and I'm still a bit under-leveled here, but that's okay because I'm basically carrying the group with my Giga Chad twink body. Apply Poison has been one of the best abilities that I have picked up now because I can basically apply 2 different dots. Between the poison from my Apply Poison ability and bleeding from my pet, it's a win-win. I fight through the rest of this foliage and cannon fodder to get to this old man who takes me on a boat ride, which honestly, I should probably ask more questions before I get on Charon's boat. I'm just saying, I have the survival instincts of like a pickle at this rate. I will fight anyone who says otherwise. This first mission requires us to run through this whole instance and steal the Scepter of Ore from the White Mantle, which honestly should be no problem because they're mostly paper people anyway. I mean, I view stealth missions in 2 ways. Either nobody saw you at all, or there was nobody left to see you. Guess which way I played? Well, I pull this massive group of people, and let me just say, the burst from 4 of these White Mantle Knights is absolutely absurd. I get slapped harder than Chris Rock did, and I get a quick res, but it just feels like this meme from Iron Man.
Stay down. Final warning.
Because immediately I get KO'd again. Good God, they ripped through me. Well, after some mild tribulation, I work all the way through this instance, killing a ton of mobs, which honestly, I just needed to get the defeated buff off of me. And I get to the end and I see this Ranger Elite, and he goes down like a chunky kid on a seesaw. And now I see that I can use Signet of Capture, and he really doesn't have anything good, save for Savage Shot. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But I went through this place and I never saw the damn scepter. Apparently, I am supposed to meet up with a buddy and take the scepter away from him. After watching some YouTube videos and stress culling the undead and White Mantle assets, I finally find our boy Dinas. Remember that guy who we were yelling at with our mask on? Well, yeah, now he's an informant for us. Which honestly, I was just hoping that he would put pants on at this point of the story. I mean, come on. For some reason, this cutscene looks like I am riding my wolf into battle. Anyway, some White Mantle guard sees us and tries to rally against us. So, like, honestly, how did we not know that these guys were the baddies? Well, since I have basically cleared out most of these mobs anyway, I just say F it and let's run. This guy makes a big point about how the White Mantle will stop anyone that tries to steal from them. But then, like, the first group doesn't even bother to chase us. Like, it's really not that difficult. I don't have to fight any of you guys. Y'all can't stop me at this point, and I run right past them. And somehow we blow up the bridge. But anyway, listen to this. These dummies are shouting huzzah on the bridge for it being down. Like, I know that they were supposed to be mad, but these animations and them cheering, well, I mean, like, listen.
What are you all doing, man? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, Muscle Mommy meets us and damn, she's a cutie. Well, we are apparently to give this scepter to Vizier Kilbron, which I am like 100% is the undead lich. I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor. Anyway, well, Sidra says, hey, how's our boy Marcus? And much how I approach most situations that are pressed to me. What? We get put up against our next mission, Sanctum K. Apparently, we have to get the scepter to the Vizier and escape on the docks on the other side. Honestly sounds super sketchy. Or had already been destroyed, I'm pretty sure at this point, and now you want us to give it to like the only survivor? Something smells like a load of shit. Anyway, we wind our way through this massive map fighting imps and these huge executioners. Like, they hit really damn hard, but honestly, they're so damn squishy. They're like nothing but flesh and armor. They're body bags. Well, after all of these undead are buried once again, we have to deal with the White Mantle again, which honestly, at this point, I'm just like sick of you guys. Like, at this point, you should have lost already. You should have realized that how have you not gotten the point? This mission was going great up until we start getting boned.
Daddy, chill.
And by boned, I mean dragon boned. Apparently, just randomly throughout this zone is bone dragons, and they have 2 large legs and decrepit wings, but somehow move with the speed of Usain Bolt on cocaine. Who designed this creepy ass mob, man? Well, we now have to deal with a poisonous swamp as well as these boys, which really isn't that big of a problem, except it puts 2 different dots on us. Poison from the swamp and then some kind of extra malaise that deals like -7 condition damage over time. This is terrible because then the malaise spreads to nearby allies who haven't been infected. Jesus, this is 2020 all over again. Well, I make the call to rush to this one elite dragon and pull everyone out of the swamp so they don't die to the poison. But like every single one of my ranged casters and healers sits directly in the swamp. I can't help them, guys. I really can't. Also, at this point, they run directly over to another bone dragon and pull it while we are killing the boss.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like, I love my henchmen, but holy hell, can you guys put your brain cells together and figure out that y'all are embarrassing me here? Well, we somehow survive, which is great because it was a little touchy here and there, and we get the scepter to the Vizier. Someone tell me how this man already has the scepter before I give it to him. Like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, Jafar here starts talking about how happy he is, and then he informs us that Marcus is indeed a traitor, and then informs us that Muscle Mommy has been kidnapped and our boat is broken.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
I'm sorry. If this guy was really all that powerful, why couldn't he have just killed out all the White Mantle? Like, I'm just saying, at this point, we should have realized that he was a baddie. Well, he is like, don't fear the undead, and summons a bunch of undead. And I know he's marked as a necromancer, but are we like going to acknowledge the fact that he's just basically straight up evil lich? Like, it's not that hard. Don't put crap under my nose and then tell me it's lavender. Well, all the undead charge in because they're basically cannon fodder, and then they don't last any longer than I did when I started watching the Twilight series, so they fail us again. We kill about 100 more White Mantle before we get to the beach, and now we have to wait for Jafar to actually summon our ride, which honestly, dude, like, come the hell on. You were supposed to be like all powerful and showing us all these things, but to me, you're just basic. It takes like homeboy 10 minutes to summon this damn boat while we're out here slaying legions of White Mantle. And at some point, you would think that they would just like run out of troops. Like, from a strategic standpoint, wouldn't the death of 3/4 of your army be a cause for a concern and perhaps a tactical retreat? Like, hey, I don't think we should send any more soldiers because these guys aren't dying. It kind of reminds me of the Taken movie series. Like, homeboy kills like their entire crime family and they're all like, we will not let this disrespect happen. Like, geez, Luigi, that's you and 2 other guys left. Like, what do you mean? Finally, Arabian Nights raises the boat and then tells us that we must go to the desert, which, I'm sorry, who the f are you to tell us where to go? You are helping us. Well, we sound all weak and what are we gonna do? And then he says, go to the desert and ascend. Find the prophet and claim the true sight. Like, dude, you are full of shit. Why do we keep trusting these random ass people? Oh my God. So now I am in the desert in this godforsaken place, and now I have to deal with more scarabs and bugs, and this is worse than the jungle. Good gracious, I hate all these places. Well, I have to be judged, and no, not on my stuffed animal collection, but to see if I can ascend. One of my favorite things about this area is that you have this portal and you have to kind of play like a pattern game, which is exactly what I need. Everything here wants to kill me, but let's play f***ing bop it. While I work my way through this terrible place to get to Augury Rock, where we will ascend, which honestly is, I like this because the Guild Wars 2 references here are pretty cool. I mean, the Elon Riverlands have the meta event for the Doppelganger and Augury Rock, so I don't know. I like consistency, let me just say. Well, now I am lost. I have to figure out where the next missions are. There are no maps. It is time to simply wander around the desert to figure it out. Fuck this game, man. At first, I kept a positive head and said, let me explore a bit. But after getting chastised by approximately 4,000 Jurassic Park ripoffs, I said, Fuck this, I actually need a map. So for me to open up Augury Rock, I need to complete 3 separate missions that are in this area. So my idea is simply to find all 3 of them and then do all 3 missions. Okay, no problem. Because I was just so happy to work through the desert, I walked right past where one of the mission locations was without actually getting the teleport location. This place is terrible. Well, 40 minutes later, I have to run all the way back after getting smacked by dinosaurs that launch meteors, stegodons for some reason, that are earth mages, and more of these creepy Carl. Who designed this place? After a brief rage fit, I finally get to Alona Reach. 1 has been completed. So I work my way south dealing with some of these desert griffins, which y'all gonna be mounts here in about 20 years, you bitches. The second mission, Dunes of Despair, has been found. Well, on my way to the 3rd location, I run into a group of 3 hydras. And for some reason, my healer and protection henchmen go down immediately, and then somehow we aggro every single nearby pack of hydras. Like, even without their meteor cast, this is absurd. I can res Alessia here, who only is alive for about like 3 seconds because the spam cast of meteor. I have a choice to run back, but I just choose to die. I thought the jungle was bad, but oh my god, this place is so much worse. Like, it doesn't get any better. I die and we get spawned right next to the scar with no less than 2 packs of hydras literally sitting right next to the respawn. They are spawn camping me at this point.
Am I a joke to you?
Well, after the equivalent of crying an actual river, I finally get to the Thirsty River. Now I can finally start these frickin' missions. I start out with Alona Reach. Apparently, I have to bring vision crystals. To this ghostly hero. Doesn't seem all that difficult, but what makes it a little bit more stressful than a chicken caught at Popeyes is that it is on a 30-minute timer when you deliver the first crystal. Once you received, you have 30 minutes to go and collect the other 2 crystals, which I was already struggle busting, and now I have a timer of all things. This game is the bane of my existence. Well, we drop off the crystal, and now we have to fight living armor and sneaky snakes to get to the other crystals. But put quite literally in the middle of my path are these bombs. Massive bombs that cripple and bleed. It's just interesting. Why would you put a bomb right there? You a terrorist? Well, what's interesting is that most of the creatures here are like nearly 10 levels higher than me, because why the hell wouldn't they be? And I'm starting to see elite skills, which is cool. So like in Guild Wars 2, you have an elite skill that you can use, but you can only choose 1, and you can only have 1 on your bars. If I remember correctly, Guild Wars 1 has a ton of different elite skills. Actually, I'm starting to really understand why Guild Wars 1 players have kind of a disdain for Guild Wars 2.
I get it.
Why pigeonhole us only into a few choices? Well, like Whacking Day, I kill all the snakes at a 3-mile radius to get to the vision crystal, and this one was no problem. Actually, it seems fairly straightforward. Returned easy money. The next one, however, is so stupid because all of the patrols meet up at joint occasions. And I've said this before, once there are 2 healers in the fight at the same time, you can't do enough damage to bring them down. You don't have enough interrupt. 2 of these sages get together and now they can spam heal forever. Not to mention that they have elite skills that are on like a 3-second timer for some reason, countdown for some reason. It's fruitless. I let some of my team die and just run away and reset because what the hell was I supposed to do? I was supposed to be the hero in this journey, but I'm getting rocked like I got into a fight with Mike Tyson. Well, I res my dead allies and then make a beeline for this individual group because hell with these guys. And I work through the rest of the way to get to the vision crystal. Fairly easy. I wait for the snaky boys to pad away and run by them because I hate this place. This sucks. Yay, we get the complete of the crystal. Yay, end my torment. Next I do is Thirsty River, and I am having to fight essentially groups of all kinds of enemies. Like they each represent one of the professions, and not to mention that on a 2-minute timer, their enemy priest will res everyone in that grouped section if you don't kill that priest. I actually really like this one, and it made me feel a little bit more risky while adding the artificial difficulty of the timer. Well, we kill some of the sand giants leading up to it because why the hell not? It gives us a morale boost to kill these guys who quite literally weren't bothering anyone. They were just kind of out and enjoying their day. I have to kill Gosh Alish team and the enemy priest in under 2 minutes. And the mobs really aren't any issue, but now there's a healer and a boss in the background and we have to deal with it. 40 seconds on the clock. I move all of my allies to stand directly on top of this priest and we kill them fairly quickly with like 30 seconds to spare. And then we deal with the Mesmer boss here, but I'm sorry, I know I picked Mesmer as a second profession, but we really are annoying. Good gracious. The next section has 2 enemy teams that we have to deal with, and again, there's the 2-minute timer for rezzing. This time, for some reason, the ghost here actually is assisting us, which made me be like, dude, what were you doing before? Can you just interrupt the heals? That's all I really care about. That would be great. All right, so we got 50 seconds to kill the priest and an elementalist boss. Okay, well, I sit directly on the boss trying to make the group focus on him and getting closer and closer. Finally, he dies with 15 seconds left on the clock, but thank goodness no more reses will occur. That was really too close for my comfort, honestly. Like, why do they got to make this stressful? Since I want to have as much time as possible, I basically AFK waiting for the ticking time to get to about 4 minutes, so then I can just rush the next group. It actually feels like so much longer because I'm just like standing still. But the bonus objective here is to finish off all of the enemies that are here before the ghost in the middle runs away. Like, listen, dude, I'm not even paying attention to you. You're already dead. Like, I don't know. I'm not here to be your rescuer. Talk to the Grim Reaper, Grenth. I gotta end these guys as quickly as possible so don't distract me. Well, the warrior boss goes down faster than a corn dog down my throat, and now I am trying to do a big pull. We are gonna pull all these guys along with the ranger elite. Not only is the priest getting worked down, but we kill all the other mobs, and we actually look like we knew what we were doing. And finally, my henchman made me proud. Well, the priest is dead, and it's pretty straightforward from here. I brought Signated Capture, which means I can get my first elite skill, Marksman's Wager. This allows me to get energy back anytime my arrows hit their target, or I lose energy if they miss. Y'all know I'm a gambling man.
That was cringe.
Well, because this took a bit longer, I'm waiting for the timer to get closer to 6 minutes before I pull, and then it's go time. Now, this one is going to be a pain. The enemy priest with a monk profession boss. 2 healers means that we are basically effing dead. I don't know what we're gonna do here. But we clear out the trash, so it is just solely the boss and the priest, and we stack straight on top of the priest and somehow get the interrupts just right, and we get the kill. And this is stressful because I'm basically hoping that the computer will do their job. That's all I'm doing. Is I'm just hoping the computer and the henchmen will actually figure out how to press their buttons. Well, we win, and King Kamar gives us the bonus, which inadvertently I'm like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this game. Look at me go. Now we have Dunes of Despair. We have to hold out while the ghostly hero reclaims his throne, which I'm sorry, I thought I was the main character here. Why are me and my basically unnamed henchmen all just side pieces here? Doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Anyway, this one's a bit more tedious than anything because the mobs aren't difficult to kill. You just have to kind of like wait for them to spawn and then to kill them. All the while you're assailed by siege worms who for some reason are the tankiest damn creatures in this entire game. Well, we kill the guards and the enemy ghostly hero here and we're good to go. And we wait. It's only 10 minutes, but like waiting on these damn mobs to get within range is obnoxious. Oh my God.
Boring.
On top of that, the worms, for whatever reason, can't be like directly hit by melee, so most of my group's out of the question. Like, I don't know. They only hit for like 30 damage with their worm siege, so it's really not that big of a deal, and they don't really cast fast enough for me to think that it would be a big deal. I don't know. This mission was easy, but apparently the bonus objective I read up on this is that you got to go and like kill a general somewhere. And each time you kill some of the mobs leading up to them, they spawn more mobs to attack your ghostly hero, which is really cool. All right, obnoxiously boring quest out of the way. Now I'm ready to ascend. Apparently this is a solo mission. Only me and Roid Rage get to go into Augury Rock and face our trial. Well, the intro cinematic is pretty cool because the mountain opens for us and we enter, and it's exactly like what they put into Guild Wars 2, which is honestly awesome. Ugh, consistency. Well, the mission is for me to defeat my doppelganger, which I'm expecting to be an incredibly difficult fight. Nope. I apply poison and interrupt his heal cast, and he's dead. Is this what I bring to the table? Am I truly that useless? Oh my God, I've never felt more disrespected. I'm such a weak little bitch. Well, we get teleported to the Dragon's Lair, the last mission here in the desert, and I get boosted to level 20, which is honestly radical. I just really needed that push because I was like still 17 or something. I don't know. So now we have to go through and kill all of these facets to meet Glint. Quite literally one of the most important characters in Guild Wars history. Like, instrumental to everything that we basically did through the Dragon Saga up until this point. We enter in a definitely not suspicious portal, and we were faced with a new challenge in each one of these open new areas. The first area gives us a permanent dot, and let me just say, fuck you for whoever designed this, but I have to admit it's so much easier because we now are capable of having a party of 8 instead of 6. So I grab up Claude and Orion and we have some DPS cooking now. It's pretty good. Well, we get to the Facet of Light and it's a monk style character. GG, no problem, easy, clap. I don't even know what the problem was here. Next, we get to the Facet of Nature where everyone is moving 50% slower. Great, now I get to hobble around like a partially blind penguin. Oy. Well, this zone isn't all that bad either, but it's mostly bow mobs and the slow speed is just really killing the vibes, yo. Nature goes down, easy clap. Also, I'd like to just take a minute and appreciate that the Herald from Guild Wars 2 basically has these different facets as its skills. I'm just saying, I really like that. Well, the next zone is the Mesmer zone, and we face the facet of Chaos, which honestly, let's be serious, theater kids are all evil. Well, it's mostly crystal spiders that are around here, and they don't really do anything to provide a challenge. These mobs are all made of paper, and now I have 8 people. So I'm actually feeling my oats here, feeling my balls in most of my pulls. Even at the end, I accidentally pulled like the entire room, like 6 to 8 Mesmers and the boss, and we really had no issue whittling them down and defeating the dragon easy. No problem. Now the Domain of Energy against the Facet of Darkness. The Necromancers in Darkness. Emos. We only have a -1 energy regen, which I'm like, okay, Marksman Wager makes all this so much easier. All the Necromancers in this place are short work, and honestly, having a large party, it's just cake, man. Dragon Facet gets absolutely rocked, and now we deal with the Elementalist in the Domain of Elements. Essentially, this whole place has environmental issues, like areas of just random storms, but honestly, this one could have used more work. Little danger, my dude. Facet of Elements. Are you down? You're practicing downstate for Guild Wars 2 Elementalist, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Lastly, we face the Facet of Strength. So this one was interesting. At timed intervals, the ground would shake, knocking everyone down for about like 3 seconds. That's actually pretty cool. It actually made me slower pace. I didn't want to pull something huge and then get knocked on our asses, and then the mobs get free kills while we were down on our faces. Fighting the Facet was actually no problem. I was expecting more out of these guys, but apply poison, interrupt the healing signet. It was a little challenge. And now we finally meet the Crystal Dragon Glint. She has been waiting for us. She tells us that we are all chosen and super special. Basically, what we find out is that Maban, or Mursat spellcasters, are leading the White Mantle, and basically their gods are Harry Potter. Our friends ran into the southern Shiver Peaks, and now we have to go and save them, but then she tells us that we have to literally go into hell in the Ring of Fire. I know where this is going. Jeez. She opens up a portal to take us to Shiver Peaks and then rushes us out. Well, I look around and I touch one of her eggs, and guess what? Now she is an enemy. Like, yo dog, chill. I was just touching, I was kidding. I was just touching the egg. And Glint is level 31? What the f? Well, we start throwing hands with literally the most important character in this entire game, but then she uses Jagged Crystal Skin and it completely annihilates all of the melees in our group. Like, they get absolutely wrecked. Our healers are constantly churning out these reses, and somehow we're working her down. Not quite sure, but our group stays afloat and we kill Glint. I'm not sure that this is a good thing, man. Like, we killed Glint, who was like not supposed to die here for a while. What if I said I'm sorry?
I am nearing the end of my Prophecies playthrough of Guild Wars 1. I only have about 6 missions left until I can get my Fiery Dragon Sword and complete this damn journey. But unfortunately, I'm faced with possibly the most stressful and difficult group of missions to date. And the only thing that's getting me through this is knowing that I will beat a 20-year-old game from my childhood. That's actually probably depression. I like to think that it's victory. I've never been this excited before in my life. Wait, shit, I'm a dad.
It was at this moment that he knew.
The first mission we have is the Ice Caves of Sorrow. This mission alone was the bane of my existence, so it's a relatively easy one. Extract Muscle Mommy from the evil Mursat and White Mantle. Although, what I didn't know until later in the mission is that you get chased by a massive group of Mursat. No. And if our girl dies, it's a fail. The Mursat hit like a double bacon freight train with an ability called Spectral Agony. This gives you like a -9 ticking stack of damage, and there's really no way to deal with it right now. I failed the first attempt, so I didn't want to pull any punches, so I brought our big boy Mox, hoping that he would hard carry for the group. We break through the initial lines of the evil dwarves and set off one of the trebuchets that make the Dolyak stampede, killing the White Mantle who are bombarding the area. But I'm sorry, this whole sequence was hilarious, but why of all places would you keep Dolyaks on the front line? Like, y'all know we're coming this way, so you put a whole bunch of sirloin steaks right where we can slurp them up? Y'all deserve to die. I'm sorry, this is on you. I work through this cave and get to the other side where there's massive groups of White Mantle patrolling, but they are lower level in my group, so they go down real easy. The threat here are the Mursats. Not to mention that they have heavy spike damage anyway, but the Spectral Agony can nearly wipe my group with a few hits. Anyway, we free Muscle Mommy, and that sounds the alarm. Sidra basically throws herself at the enemy as a sacrifice, but it was like so unnecessary. Like, the only enemy was like 2 Mursat and a Jade Armor. Like, it would have been pretty easy of a fight, but this like theatrical ass lady wanted to die. And that was her hero moment in her mind, and I'm like, no, don't, I mean. Now comes the difficult part of this mission.
Once I leave this cave, it triggers a group of like 20 Mersat casters to chase us slowly. I read up on this, and apparently if you just wait, they will patrol through and then you can slowly follow them. They will clear out most of the mobs, and you only ever have to fight like half of them at worst. And honestly, I just simply let them do their thing while they glide slowly by, and holy crap, they patrol into the firing trebuchets from the dwarves, and it eliminates like 90% of them with cannon fire. So it was as easy as me walking straight to the damn boat. Like, friendly fire rocked these guys' asses for sure. That was so much easier than expected. Holy crap. We get a cutscene of Muscle Mommy being dramatic as hell, and now we move to the Iron Mines of Mol Adun. Alright, so we find out that little shit Marcus sold us out and is doing his best to undermine the efforts of my low poly wife. I mean, I don't really require any instigation to murder at this rate. These folks, I mean, they had it coming, so let's get to slapping. Well, before we can do anything here, we have to visit a local seer who somehow knows secret magic to prevent us from being obliterated by the spectral agony from the Mersat. Like, I know the seers have a presence now in Guild Wars 2, but I guess I never really knew that it went that deep and that it was a callback from Guild Wars 1. Well, I get slapped around like Rihanna by these giant jade armors, and as most of my gameplay in Guild Wars 1 has gone, I spent a lot of time dead. And after dying like the little bitch that I am, I finally arrive to the seer, who I have to point out has like the whole Xalatath feat in full effect. If you know what I'm talking about, you should seek help, professional help. Seriously, go see a therapist. And then she says, hey, this very convenient plot device is literally right around the corner. Go get it. Stupid Kate. Well, we go and kill this like Baldur's Gate boss, and the seer infuses our armor to protect us against the Mersat's spectral agony shenanigans. But still, regardless of the actual spectral agony not being really that big of a problem, these guys still do hit like a cocaine-riddled Mike Tyson. Luckily, our group dynamic is mostly built around interrupts and disruption, so we didn't really have too much of an issue here. Also, I have to give a shout out to a YouTube comment that pointed out that my group of henchmen can actually be commanded to move to a specific location, and they'll like hold there until I tell them to move. How have I suffered so long in this game because of wonky group movements? Well, we clean up the Marcus, and he's a ranger, and I brought Signet of Capture, so I'm ready to steal some shit like I just started a peaceful riot. Marcus goes down quickly, and I snatch up the elite skill Barrage. What sucks about this ability is that it removes any preparations that I have, so I can't stack a whole bunch of poison onto a bunch of enemies at the same time. It does really great damage to groups for cleaving, but aside from that, it's okay. Avenia basically trash talks Marcus, and then we see a sweaty dwarf friends getting pushed back by the evil dwarf friends, and now it's time for us to go save their asses again. I know that we are doing the Flameseeker prophecies, but Glint could have prophesized better companions. I'm sorry. Have you ever heard of DIY? Don't ingest yeast. Y'all don't pay me for catchphrases. Okay, so now I gotta go help our dwarvy boys retake Thunderhead Keep. And what's important to note is the amount of people who said that this mission was brutal. This mission was impossible. Calf, your build is like the Twilight series because it's absolute shit. Well, I was able to muscle through most of this mission pretty well. I took my time with the pulls and the fights, but honestly, this was your card? This was your, difficult mission? These mobs are made of paper, and even the Ice Dragon boss at the end was like a slice of pastry. You get it? He's a piece of cake. Well, we protect our boy Jawless for what seems like 20 minutes, and we finally get to the final boss, and it's Confessor Dorian. You remember that chunky, sweaty boy that we had to protect in Kryta? Well, he spent too much time with some chocolate bars because he dies of diabetes on the spot. Well, the definitely not evil Vizier summons a whole bunch of ghosty boys, and every time I hear him, I think of Dracula from Hotel Transylvania saying like, blah, blah, blah.
I don't say blah, blah, blah.
Well, he tells us to go off to the Ring of Fire, which my first thought was, what the hell does Johnny Cash have to do with any of this? The dwarf brothers split off, and we run through the definitely not evil portal, and then like 2 seconds later, the undead Lich appears. Same voice actor and everything. Oh my goodness, who did not see this coming? So now I have to complete some quests to get to the next mission, but I immediately run into this effing place that has Hydras. I hate Hydras. They deal so much damage so quickly, and they all stack for some reason. I don't know. Not to mention that every enemy in this immediate area immediately pats through this one fight that I'm having, and 5 seconds into my journey into the Ring of Fire, I die. Well, this has been fun. I work my way through this horrible place, but now I am in the first mission. We're getting close now. We only have a couple more missions and we're done.
We literally get into the instance and Breknar just runs straight into the enemy Mursat to die. Like, what the actual fuck are you doing? Like, we were fine, you nerd. Like, we could have figured this out. Well, we have to establish a foothold here to which operate out of. And honestly, it really shouldn't be all that bad because I can actually control my group with precision now and I don't have to stress about them running every which way. The difficult part of dealing with this mission is the Ether Seals. Not only do they attack and damage, but they drain all of your mana, meaning if you don't kill them quickly, your healers have no mana to which to heal. Boy, I hope that these are not frequently used in the next couple of missions. Literally 5 minutes later, we get to a whole damn fortress, and in front of us is like 10 of these seals. Time to go clubbing, I guess. This really isn't all that difficult, to be honest. It's just slow, picking off these enemies and running away with our group so we can whittle them down. I think on the main door, it took me like 10 minutes time just to get everything right. We kill all the Mursat in this area because why the hell not? It's part of the mission, and personally, I start to hate these buggers anyway. After wiping them from the face of existence, the instance is won. Okay, only 2 more missions to go. Here we go. Okay, so listening to the non-evil Lich Vizier, he has told us that we need to open the door Kamali because there's definitely the answer to all of our problems on the other side. There definitely will not be evil monsters on the other side that will be unleashed and cause us a bigger problem. Surely you can't be serious. I am serious.
And stop calling me Shirley.
We break into this fortress full of Mursat people, and of course they're throwing everything they can at us, but we resist their utter bullshit and realize that they're actually just elementalists with no defensives. That's an easy win. There were a couple of unique interactions where we had to fight 2 named mob bosses at the same time, which was honestly fun. It really wasn't that big of a challenge, but what I didn't talk about is how having, instead of a normal group of henchmen, we actually have like the mentors back from Ascalon. Specifically, Brother Menlo. Holy crap, he is doing so much work. Well, we drop all these jade armors like a bunch of clumsy blacksmiths, and we fight a double boss, and this one is a Monk Ranger combination. Even though there are 2 healers, we actually get the kill on both of them pretty easily. I get this Mursat monk is running away, and I hit him with a fadeaway shot. I'm just saying, that was pretty cool. Like, that was fun. That was a good mark for me. The last double group of bosses that we get to are a Mesmer and Elementalist, and for whatever reason, this Mesmer is the tankiest damn boss I have ever fought. The Elementalist returns to his natural state and dies, but this damn Mesmer has physical resistance, and I'm basically all physical damage. This whole boss is nothing but being whittled down. Good God, imagine having to fight a group of enemies and this guy being in the middle. Well, we get to the door and now we have to kill 6 of these seals holding this place in together. I thought that I would just go ahead and clear out the enemies, but they simply kept respawning, which is kind of a pain. I mean, they die fairly quickly, so it's really not that bad, but it gets touchy when they all stack up. We win and open up a giant volcano door, and all these evil spirits start pouring out like it's the end of Ghostbusters, and the Vizier that we, for some reason, haven't caught on is the evil Lich, and he finally shows his true form. And hot damn, this guy is much taller than I imagined. Well, he summons Titans, yeah, you know, like the Titans we dealt with in Janthier Wilds. We gotta kill this Titan, and it has no flesh and is immune to poison and bleed. Shit. Well, the Lich starts distributing Titans out like they're candy on Halloween, and I am finally here. The last mission of the Prophecy story. Our objectives here are to stop the Titans and destroy the Lich. The Titans I am not worried about. They really haven't established a passing game since Vince Young. The most annoying part of the Titans is that they're like those Russian Fabergé eggs that keep recreating new creatures once you kill one. One splits into another and then splits into 2, and holy crap, this is a pain in the ass. Mostly these guys are alright, sometimes they hit pretty hard, but then other times they just overwhelm my group. I mean, no stress, we figure it out and we somehow survive. You know what I didn't survive? Frickin' groups of Sparks of Titans. Like, the amount of fire damage that they deal in a 15-second period is absolutely absurd. Who designs a nuking mob that can deal that much damage that quickly? Why does ArenaNet hate its players? So I recollect myself, and instead of running straight into the massive mob of these Sparks, I take another route, and I only have to fight 2 of them. And they're dealing, like, so much spike damage. Holy hell. Like, and this is only 2. They killed 2 of my teammates before I could even finish one of them off. Like, I mean, I pick off a couple of enemies so I can make a little bit more of isolated pools so they're not abysmally overpowered. But this moves so damn slow, and at this point I was pretty sure that the DMV was faster. Like, the DMV is for speedrunners. Well, I get to a massive opening, and Pure Death is standing on the other side of it. there's like 15 sparks all waiting there to kick my ass. I'm sorry, but whoever designed this mission can burn in hell. Why are there so many sparks? They hit so damn hard. Somehow we pull like a group that has 3 sparks, 2 risen titans, and a whole bunch of bone minions. And let me be the first to say, Menlo absolutely carries this group. Like, he does all of the work here. We somehow all die, and we're just down to the healers and me, and we somehow recover. Holy crap, the design of this fight is terrifying. Well, the healers start getting some reses, and we finish off the group. But this was the closest that I came to failing this mission, and this would have been my second fail in like 5 minutes. For some reason, there's an ancient seer just chilling here. Oh, it's so convenient. Oh, he was waiting for the prophecies. No, he just chilling, plot device. He wants us to kill some big Armageddon lords that are hanging out, and they want to end all life as we know it. Well, duh, that's like the common thread in this game. Everything here wants to kill us. But the seer wants us to kill them before they kill us. Bro, Sidon, I am not dealing with these guys for the bonus when I haven't even cleared the main objective. It took me all the way until the last mission of prophecies to find out that I can actually call my targets, like the mobs that I'm wanting these guys to focus on, and actually tell the henchmen what to do. The last fucking mission. Anyway, I have to close these portals and stop all the titans from running all over the place. But to do so, I have to essentially kill every one of these mobs floating around here because they all patrol within range of each other. So instead of it being easy, it's an absolute pain in the ass. Well, I get the first one quickly, which was sending titans to Ascalon, which honestly, that place has been through enough. You know, first the Char, and then a dumbass king, and then their prince died in the snow. After a named mob goes down, most of these guys fall like a sack of potatoes. We close the Lion's Arch portal because nothing ever bad will happen to Lion's Arch. Nothing. It never will happen. There will never be a negative incident involving Lion's Arch. We close up the last portal, which looked like it was going to Maguma, I guess, and the Lich comes out and he's like every damn villain that you've ever seen. He enters into a monologue, so he chases him. He would have been in such a better shape if he actually attacked us and killed us when we were dealing with those sparks. Well, he laughs a bit more like a kid who heard the word fart. And sometime during the story, he rezzed our boy Rorik himself, flaming dragon sword glowing and everything. Well, I kind of cheap out on this pull, and I do it so I don't aggro so many of these things, but I kill undead Rorik again.
I beg of you, do one last duty for your prince. Release me from the Lich's spell.
Well, my ranger shoots his arrow like he's trying to hit a damn pigeon. Somehow the arrow bends back and hits the target that's below him and one-shots Rorik to the dome. What the hell was that? All right, well, now comes the finish. We have to kill the Lich, who we knew was evil from the start. Anyway, I clear out some of these ads that are here, and he ends up teleporting a couple of our group members out into the lava, but like, this whole boss fight was uneventful. Like, I poison and bleed him, and we just end him right there. Apparently, he could, like, res a couple of times, but, like he was on the Bloodstone, so I guess not. That's it? That's all the mission was? I win? Okay. Well, the door is closed, and Glint, who I definitely did not kill in a previous video, appears, and she gives us kudos, but tells us that we're all about to die, so we run off onto a boat and win. Yay! Well, we come back here with the dwarves, and now there's a huge celebration. Literally every person that we've ever interacted with. And it's like, that was the final boss? The mobs getting to him were more difficult. What the hell was that? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because I've earned my fiery dragon sword. Wait a second. How the hell do I get to the Eye of the North? It took me a lot longer than I was expecting, but I finally unlocked this damn sword in Guild Wars 2 by playing Guild Wars 1. Last episode, I beat the Prophecies campaign, which should have been a monumental moment for me, but good gracious, I was not expecting there to be so much more after re-unaliving the Lich for me to unlock the Hall of Monuments. Dinosaurs, weird underground dune creatures, and the worst thing, low poly Asura.
Hide your kids.
The conclusion of the Fiery Dragon Sword saga is here. Okay, for those of you who don't know, to unlock this damn sword, you have to start by earning things in the Hall of Monuments, which if you didn't know, means you have to work through a bunch of different achievements and quest lines to get the 10 points that you needed to unlock the sword. First things first, I have to get to the Eye of the North. We have to take a quest that starts right here in Lion's Arch to investigate some underground rumblings. I grab my low-level group and clear out some undead and other creatures and run into a dwarf that actually kind of looks like a real dwarf. I mean, it was was incredible. This was like an awakening moment for me. And for some reason, I'm just now realizing that nobody's eyes can fixate on each other, so they just stare in their general direction.
What are you looking at? There's nothing there. That's a wall. You're literally looking at a wall.
In walks Vec. And this is the first time that we've ever seen an Azura. And oh boy, we really went downhill after this. This was peak performance. And well, apparently the destroyers are raiding this cave and they are hot on our trail. Get it? Because they're fiery boys on fire. Well, we raced through this collapsing cavern to an Azura gate, all the way at the very end of this cave system, and holy hell, these destroyers are screaming towards us. What I wouldn't give to have a speed boost, Jesus. Well, we go through the totally not suspicious portal and get teleported to a cave in the north. Oh my hot damn. Move over, Triangle Boobs Lara Croft. Look at this hot tamale. Muscle Mommy's a distant memory now at this hottie, holy crap. Well, she doesn't want to throw hands with us anyway, because she's like, hinting at bigger prey, but like, I got all the prey that you need. I need to stop. This is a video game. Well, we are now up in the north with henchmen from Prophecy and factions, and now I get a couple of heroes in the mix as well. Vec, who is an elementalist, and Ogden, who is a monk healer. What is sad is I actually know how the dwarf story ends. I don't even have to play through. Well, we wander out into the cold looking for a way forward to the Eye of the North, and we run into Tall Muscle Mommy again and their friends, and then they all turn into bears for some damn reason. Yeah, just why not? Oh, hey, what's up, bear? But I have to say, the environment for this zone is quite beautiful. Also, I'm hilariously underdressed for traversing in the Arctic, but facts don't make sense right now. I mean, your friends just turned into a bear and you're still attracted to them. God, this is like the trailer for Baldur's Gate 3 again. Well, at this resurrection shrine, there's a Norn guarding it, and apparently you could just fight them. And this is pretty cool because they just like anamorph into a bear. And I mean, he goes down like a double glizzy sundae, but you get some reputation. It's like you have to pick a fight to earn credits. It doesn't make sense. But then we arrive at the Eye of the North, and we all stand there looking at it all at this building, and then all of a sudden this girl Mesmer's standing there, and you know who this looks like. A little girl who's missing a flute and is allergic to cats and fire. We get into the Eye of the North, and I'm like, oh, this is it. This is all I needed, right? Bam, Eye of the North, and this should be a slam dunk. Well, this is only the start of what I have to do. I should be able to display all of my items here, and I should be ready to unlock the Fiery Dragon Sword, but that is not the case here. I can't do anything until I unlock the tapestries to display everywhere, so everyone starts laying all their problems on me. Ogden, Gwen, and Vec are all like, you need to help us solve all of our problems because we don't know how to do it ourselves. Well, I do have one tapestry that is available, and that is the Honor Tapestry. This basically allows me to display a statue of the Undead Lich for completing the Prophecies campaign. That adds a few more points to my total, but I still need 10. Well, here comes the grind. I have to unlock tapestries by playing through the Eye of the North expansion. The sword is becoming less of a slam dunk and more of a holy airball. Well, now I need to either help the Azura, the Norn, or the Ebon Vanguard. For some reason, I choose to help out the Azura, mainly because their character models are hilarious and the jokes they just write themselves. So Muscle Mommy greets us outside, and we have to make a long trek to the Azuras. I have to travel all the way across this entire map for these angry little booga screamers. But at this point, I didn't know that I was going to have to make this journey. I thought it was just a teleporter right there. Well, I get slapped around by a bunch of condition-focused Mandragora teams that ride through the snow like they're layering conditions, and then this big guy rips us to shreds.
I've been violated.
This isn't going to be fun, is it? I know I carry a mix of heroes and henchmen, but what I don't realize is that the heroes can dual class like me and not just be locked to a single build. What also sucks is that I didn't realize this until well after I finished unlocking the sword. Well, I progress into 2 separate zones, and I'm getting absolutely swamped by ice imps, and for some reason, Ogden and Vec just keep dying so quickly, but I don't know why. Well, we keep getting overwhelmed by a group of like 20 ice imps and ghost bats or something. I don't know. The first death of my group, and many more to come. We rest around the corner and then kill that group, but then we see these like super chunky rams. But what's actually hilarious is I feel like the Doliacs in Guild Wars 2 are definitely a downgrade from these guys. I mean, these guys look badass. Look at their horns. Well, I get down into the valley, and then for some reason, we pick up every pack of patrolling Minotaurs in the Tri-County area. And literally all of them. And I think we grab like 6 of these enemy groups because you, that's why. Well, we all die, and then we come back, and now we have to deal with the Juten here, and holy crap, these guys are like giant babies. These guys are so much more intimidating than here in Guild Wars 2. It's kind of a downgrade, actually. Hot damn. We clear them out, and then some Wind Riders, but if you're counting, we've gone through like 4 explorable zones at this point. This expansion is an understatement. There is so much open world in here. Good God. Well, I fight to the Umbral Grotto, and now I have to get to the other side of Vlox's excavation to get to an Azura camp and speak with the guys that we need to make us allies. Surprisingly, this isn't actually all that difficult. It's just kill some necromancer type mobs and get to the other side. Ogden dies. Again, seriously, what is his heal? Why the hell does he keep dying? He's a healer. Heal yourself. Well, we arrive to Vlox Falls, and the next leg of my journey is all of the Azura screaming at each other, trying to figure out what the hell to do. Apparently, we need to build a big super weapon to fight the destroyers that are encroaching on our lands. Everyone squabbles back and forth, and then we need this Azura called Gad. But in walks Livia, you know, from the smash hit MMORPG Guild Wars 2. Well, she makes a cameo here, and hot damn, her character model is nice. Damn, ArenaNet, you did some cooking here. What? We need more of this back. What are you doing?
Daddy, chill.
Also, as the model walks up, all I will just say is jiggle physics. It's so stupid. Well, my dumbass didn't check my inventory. Apparently, I had this tapestry to place in the Hall of the Monuments already. That means one extra one, but that's still not enough of what I would need. I get back to the Hall of Monuments and I use the Devotion Tapestry to display some of the minis that I've earned over the years. And now I get some more points here. But this still means that I'll have to do the Azura quest line for me to be able to unlock the Fiery Dragon Sword. But it's a heck of a lot better and a lot closer after showing my little followers. Let me start out by just saying I died a lot here. Like every chance I got, I ran into a passing group of enemies that straight up overwhelmed me and slapped at me. My build is trash. Maybe using henchmen isn't that great. I haven't figured out how to use heroes. Ugh. But what I didn't know until it was actually happening was that these crates somehow get stronger here than in Guild Wars 2. Like these crates morph into something terrible and then they hit so hard. Anyway, we stumble through the jungle and we come upon Ventari. And guess what he's planting? A tree. I wonder who that could be. Well, I get diddled here by the equivalent of 40 flying tentacle monsters and they keep patrolling into us. Like who designs a game? This is not enjoyable, where everyone just gets slammed with an unreasonable amount of patrols constantly. This is horrible. I disengage, I pull away, and I'm like, all right, I'm tired of these dumbass patrols and the dumbasses in my group getting overwhelmed. Fucking hell, man. Well, we get slapped around a little bit more, and I was finally able to get to rank. It was the first one that we needed to, and basically he says, sure, I'll help you after you help the other people that you're supposed to get. Well, like, you, dude. Like, this all starts going downhill because there are literal dinosaurs here. And oh my God, this is probably where they got the inspiration for like the most recent Jurassic Parks. Like these guys are nightmares, to say the least. Huge claws, giant teeth, and nearly one-shotting my protection henchmen. Good God, Jurassic Park memories all over again. Well, we get another massive patrol of raptors who all join in, and I do the most noble hero thing that I can do, and that is right, leaving my dead-ass team and running into Ratasum while they all are rotting on the ground. You know what? Hey, only one of us has to survive. Someone's got to live to tell the tale. And honestly, this place is a lot less exciting than the current version. Actually, this looks pretty desolate. Like, there's like 5 Asura here, and that's it. Well, now I am hunting Ula. So we meet up with this guy Blim in the jungle after getting decimated by some more flying spaghetti monsters, and now we enter Ula's lab. Not gonna lie, I actually really liked this dungeon. There's tons of moxes all over the place that we have to work our way down to the bottom and fight these guys. I mean, there's like tons of security sentries and this place really isn't any sweat, but it was a cool design. And honestly, Ula just throwing us all these like sentry golems as her like defense, like that was your ace in the hole, Ula. Oh, let me tell you, your hole just got violated.
Wait a minute.
Can I actually say that? YouTube, don't demonetize my shit, please. Well, we fight through all sorts of traps and other things, but eventually get to the bottom, and we now have to fight an indestructible golem. Very conveniently, we are giving a flux matrix that we use on the golem, and it kills him. Why leave that around? It's just not smart, man. We clear up a couple more golems, and we get to Ula, who basically hates all people, which, like, fair. She doesn't like Vec, so we sass her into coming, and she actually agrees. Well, that's 1.5 of these guys down, I guess. Now let's go get Gad. And this one was a lot less exciting, because all I had to do was fight a bunch of dinosaurs on the country hillside. And if you can believe that, for some reason that the dinosaurs are necromancers, like they curse and steal HP. Damn, those scientists really cooked up something in their labs, didn't they? And this part of the journey was actually a hell of a lot more easier because I was a lot more patient. But I finally get to Gad, and now we get to see that high-def, low-poly Livia again. And Gad says that we are depressing, which, like, you talk to me like every school teacher I ever had. They all said the same thing. That hurts a little. Well, I have to find Ettins that are all around this area that have like runes sketched onto them and get back to Gad, who basically hates us, which kind of makes me laugh because he may be very, very smart, but he is absolutely missing out on this baddie here. I really got to let go of this. Anywho, Gad takes us on a journey underground to the Bloodstone, which again, every time that we interact with the Bloodstone, something terrible happens. I don't know why we keep doing it. After essentially recreating the first time walking into Mount Moon in Pokemon Red and having to fight every effing Zubat in a 50-mile radius, we get to the Bloodstone and we kill an inscribed Ettin. And then Gad goes on to sass us because we are like, dude, we don't want to die. And he's like, shut up, nerd, and die. Well, Olivia doubles down and basically says the same thing. And it now looks like we're finished. And finally, we get to go and talk to Rank. I'm doing it for the sword. Do it for the sword. Just keep that in mind. After fighting an official arachnophobia nightmare, apparently Rank is already being attacked by destroyers. And holy crap, these guys are like hitting like a Mack truck and they regenerate HP so damn fast. Like, it's actually a little bit unfair. It takes us every bit of 30 seconds to kill a single mob. We whittle our way through them all, and now we are at the final step. We have to go and help the Azura with their Golem project to stop the destroyers. And there's Olivia again. Yeah, the red's doing it for me, folks. The red is, that's what it is. Well, this mission has us bouncing back and forth, killing destroyers, and we're trying to stop them from stopping the golems from getting up to full temperature. And the worst part is I kind of let Gad die a couple of times. Same with Hula, like, they're fine. It's just a little death. Y'all can take it. This goes back and forth for a bit, and now it is finally time for us to press the attack. We have to destroy the destroyer nest, but we get golems, which help, and they're kind of like making Mox look weak here. I'm just saying, like, he had his chance to shine. These guys are actually beating the hell out of him. This is actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We get to the end and win, and then we find out that Gad died. And we're all like, oh no. Anyway, Vec starts bawling his eyes out, and we're like, dude, you hated him. And only then did we find out that it's actually his father.
The next day, the was dead.
Like, hot damn, that took an emotional twist. Man, but the Azura quest line is finished, and now I can display my fellowship tapestry and complete this journey. The setup is actually very quick, and I'm finished, and I was like, yay, we did it. However, for some reason, I was only at 9 points in the Hall of Monuments, not 10. Well, I had to tag my buddy Astral Legend in to help me out with what was going on, and apparently I needed to add Mox to the pedestal. And then this happens. It took me nearly a month, maybe a little bit longer of casual play to unlock this damn sword, but I am so grateful for this journey. Especially with Guild Wars Reforged on its way here, it's the perfect time for me to try out that factions campaign, I guess.